Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just DC television. I guess it's now streaming. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Because they announced some stuff for HBO Max. It's been, pretty much stuff we've been waiting for them to announce ever since HBO Max was conceived and we knew it was coming out. And they said there would be DC stuff on there. So we've been waiting for them to actually announce stuff, and well, they did it today. There's not a plethora. They didn't announce like 10 years worth or 27 shows. They've only announced a handful, a few. I won't even say a handful. They announced a few, but it's still exciting, and it's going to be interesting to see how long they take to come out. And I guess when they start, get the ball rolling to actually get them, made, and we get casting and stuff like that. But the first thing I have to say is that this is already sort of known to most people, or at least I'm sure a decent amount of people would have known it. But Doom Patrol is going to be on HBO Max from now on. They said that the service doesn't launch till May 2020 in America. Once again, similar to DC Universe, they haven't announced an international thing, but they did say like Latin America would get it eventually. And I think they even referred to some stuff in the UK, or they're going to use some different channels to actually show their stuff. Hopefully they figure it out and they can just release the goddamn service worldwide like Disney Plus is doing. But that's for us to wait and see if they actually eventually do that. So yeah, Doom Patrol Season 2 will be over there whenever that comes out. I don't think they've even started filming it. Yeah, so I don't even know when that's going to come out, but we should get new episodes over there. There was no announcement on Swamp Thing. That's one thing that a lot of people wanted. Unfortunately, there was no announcement on Swamp Thing. But then again, they might leave that right till the end of the announcement because the thing's still going on, but they sort of went through all the DC stuff, so I'd be surprised if they brought that back. But you never know, they could. Yeah, but let's move on to the new stuff. So, as I said, they announced a few, but they announced 3 new shows. The first one is probably the most random of them all. I don't think many people were expecting this, but it is a bit of a different show compared to what we thought they'd probably bring, so I can understand them doing it maybe just to appeal to different audiences. But that first show is DC Superhero High. Now, a lot of people might be familiar, or at least know of the show. I think it's DC Superhero Girls or something, which essentially has like the female DC characters, not necessarily all heroes, because I think like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are in there, so just like female DC characters in high school, and it's like an animated show. Well, they're bringing that to this service, but it's going to be live action, but it's called DC Superhero High, so it's pretty much the exact same concept. It's your favorite DC heroes in high school. Now, it's going to be a half-an-hour comedy. It's executive produced by Elizabeth Banks, who I'm sure some of you might know. I'll put a picture up on the screen right now. But yeah, the actual, description of the show, it follows a group of students experiencing the fun and drama of adolescence at a boarding school for gifted kids. These teens are just trying to navigate the pressures of high school, but none of them realize that someday they will become legendary DC superheroes. Now, obviously, this makes it sound like it's going to be much different than, or not much different, but a bit different than the DC Superhero Girls show, because in that show, like, they're wearing their costumes as if they are the heroes. So with this, it almost sounds like it's Sky High, but with DC characters. Am I the only one that's getting that, that sort of that vibe, that it's just Sky High but with DC characters, which is a decent premise. But yeah, it's almost like X-Men meeting Sky High meeting just DC characters. That's what it seems to me at the moment. But it's interesting, I guess, to see where they go with it. As I said, it's a half-an-hour comedy, so it's not going to be like over the top with like drama and stuff like that. Even though they do say fun and drama of adolescence at a boarding school, I don't think it's going to be like that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the target audience is. I guess we'll have to wait and see who's cast, and I guess the first look in regards to footage. But definitely the most random announcement out of them. I don't think many people were expecting this show to be announced in regards to the DC slate for HBO Max. Now, the next show that was announced for HBO Max is actually, the next two, the final two, are both from Greg Berlanti, who, of course, is the guy behind the Arrowverse, Titans, as well as Doom Patrol. So this is the first. He's doing the next two. The last one's massive. It's going to be interesting to see how they just tackle it in general. But the first one is Strange Adventures. Now, early on, it was rumored that it was actually a Adam Strange show, but it's going to be Strange Adventures. But this could include Adam Strange doing all these different things. Like, he could be the star of every episode. But essentially, Strange Adventures in the comics is it's from like the 50s, I think, if not late 40s. I think it's 50s though. So it's definitely an old property. But the actual show will be, and this is an actual quote from Berlanti, an anthology series of cautionary tales set in a world where superheroes exist. So that's the really brief statement they gave in regards to what this show will be. But if you don't know what an anthology series is, it means that, well, it can be either each season is in a different world, or it can be each episode. So, like Twilight Zone, I guess, is something like that. Or even if you look at like American Horror Story, each season is its own thing. Then the next season is set in the same universe, but they're not connected. Like the same characters won't show up in regards to like a main role season after season, but the same actors might. So that might be how they tackle Strange Adventures. That'd be pretty interesting if they can lock in, you know, a couple of well-known actors, whether they're maybe one movie actor or a handful of decent TV actors, and they just play a different character each episode. It'd be interesting because even though DC Superhero High is random, this is definitely one that might be maybe hard to grab an audience for. I don't know. It just matters how they tackle it, I guess, because as I said, cautionary tale set in a world where superpowers exist doesn't really mean that like you're going to get the A-grade superheroes unless it's just Adam Strange doing all of this stuff. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, the last show is definitely the one where people are going to be like, oh, that's going to be awesome to see if it actually happens, which it is. But when we finally get it, it should be damn interesting to see, and that is Green Lantern. So this is what Greg Berlanti said. He says, what promises to be our biggest DC show ever made, we will be going to space with a Green Lantern television series, but I can't reveal any more about that just yet. Now, going into this, it was rumored that it was a Kyle Rayner series, which I didn't mind because Kyle Rayner's really never gotten that much attention, and I think he's actually one of the better Green Lanterns. But leading up to like the day of, so pretty much today, the rumor sort of changed, and it was like, no, it's a Green Lantern core show, which makes you think, are they ditching the movie completely? So those that didn't know, like really, you know, obviously we had the Green Lantern movie back in, I think 2011, I think it was earlier than that. I swear it was 2011 though, which was meant to like kickstart that DC cinematic universe. Funnily enough, it was actually produced and was it written? I think it was just produced by Berlanti. It was actually written by Mark Guggenheim, who ended up heading up Arrow. But obviously, that movie wasn't received well. I don't think it's the worst movie ever. I think it's actually a very watchable movie. It's just not a very good Green Lantern movie, unfortunately. But if Berlanti can come back and nail this series, it would be a bit of redemption. But as I said, it's interesting to see that this is the show they're going for, especially if it ends up being a Green Lantern core show. Like, what does this mean for the cinematic side of things? Because, you know, you'd think Green Lantern would be up there in regards to, like, this is one of the characters we want to push forward. Maybe not straight away, we want it to be like our next, handful of movies, just to sort of explore that space realm of the DC universe and the cinematic landscape and just get the new audience in. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it, because also, it's television as well, but it is on HBO Max. Obviously, the one thing they stressed throughout the panel, early on at least, was that they want their shows to be of the highest quality, like they would do with Game of Thrones. Like, Game of Thrones spent a lot of money on doing it well and making it high quality, so it is pretty much watchable for the next handful of, well, you'd hope decades, but at least years, in regards to like the CGI and just how it's presented and stuff like that. So they really did stress that with all these shows. So it's not just the Green Lantern show, but Strange Adventures should have the same thing, and all the different shows that they announced for the service that are coming when it eventually does launch. Now, the thing with Strange Adventures, which is interesting, now, I didn't include this, I'll include this now, but they said that it will feature characters from across the DC canon, which could be very obscure characters we know, but very obscure at the same time. I guess it just matters where a certain episode is set in the anthology series, but it's going to be a 1 hour drama series. I'd expect Green Lantern to be an hour, or roughly an hour, like around 50 minutes to an hour each episode. But Strange Adventures will explore close-ended morality tales about the intersecting lives of mortals and superhumans. Now, the biggest maybe concern some people might have that are familiar with Gotham is that the guy that ran Gotham, I don't know if it was for the entire time or at least towards the end, John Stevens, is actually show running it. He's show running, like executive producing Strange Adventures, and from memory, didn't he like struggle like dealing with Gotham's story and wrapping it up well? I think he was maybe one of the fault, where he made a lot of decisions and then changed them halfway through. So it'll be interesting to see if he can handle it. I thought they might have chosen maybe a different showrunner, but I trust Berlanti. Berlanti makes decent decisions, especially with shows that are just starting off, and especially a show that's going to have a decent amount budget, like a decent sized budget, like Strange Adventures. But yeah, in regards to this, the DC Superhero High show is obviously meant for like the younger audience. Like, you know, it's like a half an hour comedy series, so don't go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to see some deep storylines. Like, it's meant to be like a fun show. You switch it on half an hour, it's over. It's like a comedy, basically. But obviously, I'm looking forward to the Green Lantern show. Interested to see where they go, whether it is that Kyle Rayner thing or the Green Lantern Corps, like was rumored in the day. As I said, they didn't give any specifics about that. But this probably won't come out for like another year and a half. Like, this service doesn't launch till May next year, so I wouldn't expect this show for a while. So get excited, but don't get too excited. Don't start like whipping up your popcorn to get ready to watch it, because it's not coming out for a while. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below what show you're looking forward to the most. I'm pretty sure most of you would say Green Lantern, but some of you might be looking forward to Strange Adventures or even DC Superhero High. So I'm interested to see what you guys have to think about that. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.